YouTube, what's going on? Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you at in the world, and you tuning in. Thank you, thank you. You know, last couple of days have been real refreshing for me. Getting back to the norm. Just separating. The emotion from doing the things that you got to do. These ain't. Death is one of those things to where like you never really get over it. You just learn to live with it. And then the death of my nana. It's brought a lot of things to light for me, and it's definitely allowing me to continue to go after my dreams. Just keep pushing harder, and just don't give up. You got one life to live. Basically just make the best of it every single day, 1% better each day, and just keep putting in that work, man. Keep putting in that work. Keep keeping those promises to yourself, and just harden that resolve. That's what she preached most time. Harden that resolve. You have to really, really hone in on what you want, and you got to work hard to go get it. I love the fact that now when I'm writing these things, it's like I don't feel as boxed in no more. Because I get it. Other people in the fitness industry doing their thing, and I'm doing something completely different. But I actually like the fact that I can be this vulnerable and read this stuff to y'all. And then some people be like, damn, I can really resonate with that. I mean, this is real life shit. I mean, it really is. I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing. I ain't here to make something seem prettier than what it is. This is a ugly fucking process. It's like it's gonna be painful before it gets beautiful. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have bad days. And you just gotta realize the work that you put in, it means something. You know, I often tell myself like, damn, why did this happen? Why did that happen? A lot of things ain't for me to question. We just have to do what we do. Keep those promises to ourselves, stay on our routine, and just continue to understand that journey. Like this is a journey. There is no end destination. And I think that was the one thing that I had to realize early. Like, damn, I hope people realize that even when you do get to your goal, you still want to keep it. You still want to make it better. You still want to be bigger, smaller, whatever it is that you want to do, right? You're still going to have to keep working. It doesn't stop. But while you're working, it makes you that better person. Like I told you, my patience level has gotten way better. It's like now I'm starting to see like, all right, cool. This ain't, I'm not going to go for this. I'm not going to go for that. This is what it's going to be. This is what it's not going to be. Shit like that. And I'm okay with those standards now. I'm okay with saying, hey, that don't work for me, so fuck off. It's okay now because my feelings are my feelings and my feelings alone. Your feelings are your feelings and your feelings alone. But if we have to work together, we have to find a way, obviously. But if what you want is only going to benefit you and not help me out, nah, it doesn't happen that way. I just started reading another book today. I actually started early this morning. That's why I was a little late getting to the gym. But it's called Becoming Supernatural. It's a bit different than what I normally read, but it's a good read nonetheless, right? So it forced me to, not forced me, but I'm glad it came in when it did, because this journal entry really made me want to rewire my brain, right? Because I used to be like so afraid of, if I'm around all this food, I'm gonna eat it. Man, I done been around hot wings, hot links, all type of other shit, and I still don't eat it. And even if I've gotten to the point where, hey, if I do want that brownie, well, I'll eat a smaller piece than everybody else. It's like, dang, well, why don't you just eat the whole thing? I don't want the whole thing. If I can get the corner of the corner, that's fine with me. I got my taste, I can move on. Luther said it one time. He was just like, people can have this shit. They just don't know when to stop. They just overdo it. And they overdo it because that dopamine is like, oh man, it's real good. But when you got that level of discipline, it's like, yeah, it was good. Okay, move on. One small square of a square won't kill you, but it's that square that leads into 3 or 4 bigger squares that throws off your shit. Especially if you're sedentary and you're not moving throughout the day. You're not getting 10,000 steps. You're not hitting the gym. I swear to y'all, it's when I was over in Europe and Poland and stuff, you walked every single place because everything was either close by or it was just walking distance. There was no reason to always Uber unless it was raining or some shit. But ever since being back in Texas, the best I'll get is, okay, you know what? Let me walk to the gym instead of taking my car. Unless I got something to do after the gym, all right, cool, I'll take my car. The gym is only, what, quarter mile, if half mile away from my crib. So I just get on the road, walk, walk there, listen to my thoughts, my music, my prayer. I go do my thing, do all my working out, do my cardio after, and still walk back. I'll look up, okay, I got 8,000 steps already. But then I'm moving so much throughout the day, going up and down the stairs, going throughout the house, taking the dog out, all type of other shit. I look up, and then sometimes I have my phone on me, and sometimes I won't. And I've already hit at least 10,000 steps. So I was like, damn. So now I'm gonna get the Apple Watch just to make sure that my steps are accurately being counted, because I want to make sure I'm getting everything that I need in order to truly be successful with that. But let me get into this journal entry. It's a little lengthy like yesterday, but you can rock with me. The person I thought I was just someone protecting himself. Lately, I've been asking myself a question that's honestly been fucking with me. Who am I? What am I not protecting myself? Because the more I think about it, the more I realize I don't know if the person I don't know if the person I thought I was actually ever me. I used to tell people I'm just a private person. I just don't really like pictures. I don't like going to the pool. I don't like going to the beach. I don't like going out. I don't like the attention. I don't like being the center of the room. I'd rather just stay home. I said that shit for years, so many years, that they became part of my identity. That's just who Sean was, or at least that's who I thought I was. But now I'm not so sure, because something strange has happened. The weight came off over 120, and little by little, I started saying yes to very things I swore I hated. Now I don't mind being in pictures. Now I don't mind getting dressed up. Now I don't mind speaking on camera. Now I don't mind walking into a room. So I had to ask myself, did I really hate those things? Or did I hate the shame I felt while doing them? Because there are two completely different lives. Maybe I didn't hate swimming. Maybe I hated taking my shirt off. Maybe I didn't hate shopping. Maybe I hated dressing room mirrors. Maybe I didn't hate pictures. Maybe I hated seeing the pain in my own eyes. Maybe I didn't hate attention. Maybe I was mortified. The attention would turn into judgment. You know what's crazy? You can protect yourself for so long that you eventually mistake your armor for your own skin. I think that's what happened to me. Every decision became about avoiding pain. Sit in the back, wear the baggy shirt, make the joke before somebody else does. Stay quiet, don't stand out, don't risk being embarrassed. Don't give anybody another reason to look at you. At the time, I felt like I was making choices. Looking back, I think I was building a prison, brick by fucking brick, excuse by excuse, fear by fear. And the fucked up part is, it worked. It protected me. It protected me from rejection. It protected me from vulnerability. It protected me from being seen. But here's what nobody tells you about armor. If you wear it long enough, it doesn't just keep people out. It keeps you in. One day I realized I wasn't avoiding life because I didn't enjoy it. I was avoiding life because I didn't feel safe enough to fully live it. And maybe that's why changing my body has felt so confusing. Because my body changed, my instincts didn't. My first reaction is still to hide, still to apologize for taking up space, still to assume I'm being judged, still to brace for rejection before it ever happens. The war ended, but the soldier inside me never got the fucking message. So every room still feels like a battlefield. Every mirror still feels like an interrogation. Every compliment feels suspicious still. Not because people are trying to hurt me, but because the version of me that learned to survive doesn't know how to receive peace. He's waiting for the next attack. He's waiting for somebody to laugh. He's waiting for somebody to point out what's wrong. He's waiting because that's what kept him surviving and alive. And maybe instead of hating that version of myself, I need to thank him, because he got me here. He did the best he could with the tools he had. He protected a man who didn't know how to protect himself yet. But here's what I need him to understand. We're not there no more. We don't have to hide anymore. We don't have to make ourselves smaller anymore. We don't have to apologize for existing anymore. We don't have to earn the right to be seen. We're safe now. And maybe the hardest part about healing, not changing your body, not changing your habits, changing the part of you that no longer realizes the danger is over. Because maybe the person I thought I was never actually my personality. Maybe he was just a man trying his best to survive. And today, I don't want to survive anymore. I want to live. I want to laugh without checking who's watching. I want to take the picture. I want to wear the shirt. I want to chase the opportunity. I want to speak before fear tells me to stay quiet. I want to become familiar with peace instead of war, because maybe that's who I was all along. Not the scared man, not the hidden man, not the fat man, just a man who spent so long protecting himself that he forgot what it felt like to finally take off the armor and put the armor down. And I'm going to end with this. Maybe healing isn't about becoming someone new. Maybe it's finally meeting the person fear never let you be, right? So it also, you know, made me think, you know, this, me writing this stuff, it ain't about getting lean, right? It's about a question that can really save some, can change or save somebody's life. Is this really who I am, or is it just who I am, who I became to survive, right? And y'all don't see it because you're living it right now. But a lot of us are in survival mode. Like I said, my mind doesn't really catch up to a lot of things because, you know, my body changed quicker than I thought it would. I thought this was gonna be like a 2 to 3 year thing to get to where I'm at now, and it wasn't. It took like about 7 months really of just lifting and grinding, but I didn't really understand everything else that came with it. You know, I thought heartbreak alone was just going to fuel me enough, but it didn't. You know, after a while, I stopped giving a fuck about that part. And I just really focused on, okay, well, what's next for Sean? You know, everything else will fall into place. I can't control other people's decisions. In fact, I'll let them live in their fucking decisions and I'm going to be okay. You realize your worth later in the process. And that's just what it is. You know, because when you're going through something, you don't see the other side just yet. You got to really hunker down and just continue that focus. Guys, since I've been back, a lot of things have come into perspective for me. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to hide anymore. If y'all notice, I done took pictures in dope ass shirts that fit my body perfectly. I've taken pictures with my kids. You know, I've done a lot of different things that I didn't really do in the beginning or before because I was a bigger guy and I hated how I looked in pictures. My boy Brandon showed me a picture of me at our first AGA golf tournament that we had as a group. And I really didn't recognize the guy who I was. And I'm surprised I willingly took that picture because normally I would have volunteered to take the picture. But it was somebody on staff there who decided to do that. And I just didn't recognize myself. I was like, what the hell? And the way your body plays, the way your mind plays tricks on you, you know, you're never going to feel like it's enough. You're never going to feel like, dang, I got here. Now I got to get here. It's a never ending cycle until you feel like, oh, this is exactly how I want to look. Let me get there. You know, it's never going to stop because you're going to keep moving your own goalposts. And you putting on that armor is like, okay, cool. I mean, I wore my armor for a long time and I still wear it in a sense because I still don't take compliments very well. I just laugh it off. Oh man, you look great. Oh man, appreciate it. You know, I don't go into depth about no other shit because I feel like this should have been me the whole time. I fucked myself up by not taking care of myself, doing the right thing, you know, letting my discipline fuck up. I had to realize that you're not making concessions by living. You make concessions when you live and you don't have limits, right? That I always use the brownie analogy because that's something Luther had always stressed. He was like, dude, we can have these things that everybody like. They just eat too much of it. And I was like, well, damn, you know, and I always felt like, hey man, I'm far enough in my journey. I can do this shit. Granted, I am, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I had to do my research. I had no idea travel can make you retain so much water. Travel, deviating from your normal routine as far as eating, it deviates. That deviation makes you retain water. So I was sitting here thinking, I know good and well, I was eating super clean when I was home. You know, I had got you know, every day before I went, you know, to be with my family or whatever, it was, you know, chicken breast, broccoli, salmon, Greek yogurt, walnuts, blueberries, and potatoes or sweet potatoes. That was it. That's all I ate. Straight whole foods, right? I go home and I'm just like, okay, cool. Look, I have a lot going on. I'm not gonna sit here and have time to sit here and just cook this shit and do what I need to do. I have a lot to do with the family. I got to do a lot for my nana. All right, cool. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to get the wellness wrap, 0 carbs, you know, 60 calories per wrap or whatnot. So I got 2. I went to the deli, got the leanest oven roasted turkey, no honey, no none of that. Even if I can get the sodium free, I would. But I ended up getting like the oven roasted turkey. Then I get some high protein cottage cheese and I season that, put a little honey on it, put some lettuce and some onions on it. Roll them things up and just smash them, straight eat them. And keep in mind, I kept my routine up going to the gym, eat a banana before the gym, you know, take my pre-workout, get in from the gym, you know, eat my walnuts, eat my blueberries, you know, and do those things. Those wraps, that was a deviation from my process, you know. all that fruit I ate was a complete deviation from the process. So it's like, okay, cool, I'm okay. But then it's like, I look in the mirror, I'm like, this don't feel right. And then I look, I'm retaining so much water because I went back through, because every week I take progress pictures or whatever. Last week and the week before, look amazing. And then this week, it was a little bit more water around there, a little bit more fuller, a little bit more salt. I was like, what the fuck going on? I had to get talked down. Like, bro, chill. You just traveled. That means you got on a plane and you went to an entirely different state. That makes you retain water. Then you deviated from what you normally eat. That what they say, it was like that wrap. It was like, it may have been healthy, it may have been super healthy, but that's not what you've been eating every day for the past 6 months. That is a deviation. So I really had to talk myself down and be like, bruh, you didn't gain fucking 30 pounds of fucking fat overnight, and you haven't been eating that way to deserve it. So it's literally just the water and the glycogen. But in my head, oh, you fucked up. How you fucked this up? But I may have said that to myself, but it's like, okay, back on track tomorrow. I'm still gonna wake up and go to the gym. I'm still gonna eat the right way. I'm still gonna do these things. And then I was telling my guy, like, man, look, I need something to go flush this water. I was like, bro, calm down and chill. That stuff is gonna come off on its own. He's like, you didn't put on fat just by doing that, bro. He said, you fine. You still eating a deficit. He's like, your maintenance is at like supposed to be 3,500 calories, but you still eating well below that, and you still hitting the gym. He's like, you're fine. And it's hard to tell you that because that armor has been sitting on me for so long. It's like, you still work hard and you never want to go back to what you were. And it's always the small shit that trip you up. Guys, you got to live. You got to, because this journey won't even be sustainable. It just won't. You can't go a whole year or a whole 2-3 years. I mean, you can if you choose to, but what the fuck? Who don't want to enjoy that slice of cake? Who don't want to enjoy that brownie? Who don't want to enjoy, these things that you can have, but you just can't have it so much so often. If I decide to eat a square of a brownie today, I probably won't even have that shit for like another month. Because, hey, and it's going to work into my calories. It doesn't fucking matter. I put in the fucking work. I'll enjoy that from time to time. But it's like, I'm still not finna go out here and smash a fucking 3 or 4 cheesesteaks. Nah, big dog. I'm going to enjoy half of that. I'm on a weekend. That's like once a month. For a meal, you know what? I trained for this. Let me get like a little, let me just get a little cheesesteak. Let me get a little burger. Even with the burger, I'm gonna make it myself. The cheesesteak, I'm gonna make it myself. I ain't gonna get the natural hoagie. I'm gonna go get the light bread. That's 45 calories per slice. I'm gonna go get that shaved ribeye, and I'm gonna go get me some fat-free fucking provolone and some onions and bell peppers, and that's gonna be my version of a cheesesteak. And it serves the same purpose. That's just who I am. And having on that armor for so long really allowed me to be like, you know what? This is another way I'm gonna protect myself by still enjoying these foods, but I'm gonna make it calorie friendly and I'm gonna make it more healthier so I can sustain. One day I'm gonna break that and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna have a burger from Five Guys. Probably not, but guys, that armor didn't really allow me to live. I created a prison in my own mind, and I literally left one prison of being confined because I'm such a big guy. Now I'm in another prison that I'm trying to work through mentally and emotionally. That's like, hey, if you even look at a French fry, you're gonna gain 10 pounds. But if that French fry didn't get dropped in oil? What if that French fry was air fried? It was lightly salted and air fried. I'm not negotiating with myself. I'm just fighting the old me who was surviving. I don't want to survive no more. It's truly people out there that give a fuck about me. It's truly people out there that love me, and I love them back. And you don't see that when you're going through things because, like I said, that armor is up. That's just what it is. And there's that mind, guys. It's like the mind will create scenarios that's not even real based on the lack of information that you got. Or the mind will allow you to not see some shit due to how you feel. That's why I've been listening to a lot of stoicism items. I've been reading a lot of stoicism books because the Stoics had it right. You have to be cool with not being able to control everything. And you got to be cool with learning how to control your own mind, because that's fucking, the mind is dangerous, guys. It truly, truly is. And my mind told me, don't write nothing like this and share it with the world. They may look at you as this. But I was like, well, I'm not trying to reach the world. I'm trying to reach people in the world who's battling these things and no one talks about it because a lot of people don't. You know, I haven't met anybody who can get on camera and say, you know what, this is something that I battled with emotionally and this is how I dealt with it. You know, maybe that's not for everybody. Maybe that's not their lane. Maybe their way is a little bit more direct, punch you in the face. I mean, my way is more, let's realize this shit together. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real. Because guys, I can't lie, even when my son is with me, he sees it. He sees the looks. He sees the, do you play football or do you something? Luther was right. Being lean is rare. And right now, I feel like I'm bloated in the motherfucker. But then when I look at, and I go in the bathroom after shower, I'm like, damn, I'm kind of stocky. And then it goes to, hey, yeah, because your glycogen filled your muscles. There's water in your muscles now. You don't look stringy. You don't look, just skinny anymore because you haven't been eating. These things have changed for me now. So now that I'm back on my regimen of, hey, pre-workout, get home after the workout, got your walnuts. You're gonna do your 10 grams of walnuts, your 35 grams of blueberries, and then you're gonna drink your protein shake. And that's gonna be your money. Then you're gonna have your creatine, your chewables. Okay, deal. That's early in the morning. So then like at 11:30, 11:15, 11:30, bam, here you go. Now it's your first meal. There's your 170 grams of salmon. There's your 200 grams of broccoli. And here's your 60 grams of potatoes. All right, cool. Then 3:15 gonna come around. All right, now it's time for your 200 grams of chicken breast strips. There's your 200 grams of broccoli. And here's your 60 grams of sweet potatoes or potatoes. And then there we go. Now 1800 go roll around. And it's the last thing you're going to eat. And it's going to be your slowest digesting meal because it's Greek yogurt. 340 grams of your Greek yogurt. 18 grams of walnuts. 70 grams of your probably I'll do strawberries. 20 grams of honey. Call it a day, right? And that right there, that's my normal eating thing. Nothing outside of that, nothing within that. I can't lie. Being out here actually walking in the sun, actually swinging golf clubs, actually moving and working, you burn a lot more than you fucking realize. Like I said, I was slumped over that one day, just hit the ground, slumped over, didn't have it. So it's like now if I know I'm gonna go out there, hey, you know what? I need to bring a chomp with me. And a chomp or two. That's 80 calories and 12 grams of protein, a turkey protein stick. $18 damn at Walmart for the pack, but it's worth it because that's conducive to what my goals are, right? And if I know I'm gonna be out there sweating and I'm gonna be out there moving around and walking that much, you need something. You can't just be out there trying to muscle it in the heat. And that's some things you don't realize. That armor teaches you a lot, but it's also a humbling thing that when you're allowed to take that armor off, you see the world for what it is. But it's hard to step into it because for so long you've been cooped up in that one prison. And I've like I said, I've traded one prison for another. And I'm not negotiating with the terms of this prison. I'm just creating a new standard for it. Non-negotiable, I will hit the gym every day. Even if it's just going to walk, I got to. Guys, when you get there, the shit that you eat and the shit that you drink, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'll have a Bloom fucking energy drink because it's only 10 fucking calories per 12 fluid ounces, and the ingredients label's not long at all compared to the other ones. So it's like, hey, I know if I want to go in today, I'm gonna pour that in my cup and I'm gonna put my pre-workout in there because tomorrow is gonna be legs and I'm gonna be tired. It's time to get that shit in. So, guys, you got to find that balance of, taking that armor off to live and having on that armor to protect yourself. Because what are you really protecting yourself from? You. I wasn't protecting myself from everybody else. I was protecting myself from me. Because I knew how emotional I was inside on how big and insecure I was. And that insecurity made me push people away. That insecurity made me second guess myself in every aspect of my life. And now that I'm to a point to where once I make a decision, I feel great. Some things are still hard for me. Like right now, I'm not making any major life decisions because I'm still very much tied to the emotion of loss with my nana. So I'm not making any major life decisions right now involving anything until I can at least come to a place to where, hey, take the armor off, relax, be logical. That's the best thing for me at this point. So I shared that journal entry because I really felt it was conducive to where a lot of us are when we make it to the other side, or we're just there to that other side, because those last 10, 15 pounds, they the most psychological ever, because the scale ain't moving as fast and your body ain't changing that fast. But every pound after, when you in that last 10-pound range, is visibly noticeable because it's that much harder to lose. I know, like, guys, I went home with 195. I came back, stepped on the scale today, 203. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell? But then it's like, bro, you ain't a bad looking 203. I was like, oh shit, I'm not. But then it's like, dude, you'll be 200 at the end of the week. Just keep doing what you do. And I will be. And then next week, I'll be back to 196, 197. Then the week after, I'll be back down to 193, 192. And then the week after that, I'm pushing for 190, then charging it hard for the 180s. You know, I'm back on that grind again. It doesn't stop. Who cares that I ate a mountain of fucking mangoes and a mountain of fucking watermelon and shit? Who cares? I don't. Not anymore. I did it. It's in the past. Now we adjust going forward. And that's what you guys got to understand. While you wearing that armor to protect yourself, keep that logical mindset and that resilience, because you're going to need it on this journey. It's going to be stress that's going to keep weight on you. Your cortisol levels going to go up for a lot of many different things, but you just keep grinding and don't play no fucking away games.